All right, ready to jump into the Singapore market.
So do it.
We've got 4 companies making headlines, all pulled from SG Morning Call News, so you know it's the good stuff.
Sounds like a good mix.
Yeah, we'll get a taste of different sectors,
Yeah.
kind of see how things are playing out across the board.
It's always fascinating to see how different industries are responding to the current economic climate.
Definitely. Okay, let's start with Capitaland Integrated Commercial Trust, or CICT for those in the know.
They've been making some big moves.
UGE. They just sold off an office building,
Oh, yeah. Prime location.
Raffles Place, for a cool $688 million.
That's a serious chunk of change.
Right. I mean, that's like enough to buy a private island or something.
Or a whole fleet of luxury cars.
Exactly. But here's the thing. They're not just pocketing the cash.
No, they're actually using it strategically. Smart move.
So what are they doing with it?
Well, they're using a good chunk of it to pay down debt.
Makes sense. Interest rates are through the roof these days.
Exactly. Reduces their financial burden in the long run, frees up capital for other things.
Like what? Upgrading their other property?
Would be.
Or even investing in new acquisitions. Who knows?
So it's less about a quick profit and more about setting themselves up for the future.
Yeah, playing the long game. It'll be interesting to see what their next move is.
Speaking of interesting moves,
Yeah.
let's talk about Fraser's Hospitality Trust.
Ah, yes.
FHT.
Their situation is a bit, well, a bit of a mystery.
How so?
Well, their payouts to investors went down,
I saw it, yeah.
but their overall revenue actually went up.
Hmm.
So more money coming in, but less going out to investors. Doesn't quite add up.
It's all about the bottom line. Rising finance costs, probably due to interest rates and higher taxes, seem to be eating into their profits.
Ah, so it's not as simple as just looking at the total revenue.
Nope, you got to dig deeper, see where the money's really going.
It's a good reminder for all of us, really.
Absolutely, especially in this kind of economic environment.
Okay, let's move on to something a bit more upbeat.
Sounds good.
Food empire, the coffee and snack giant.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with their products.
They're doing really well, actually.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Their revenue jumped over 11% last quarter.
Wow, that's impressive. What's driving that growth?
Seems like they've really tapped into the Asian market.
Makes sense. There's a growing middle class there with more disposable income.
And they're looking for brands they can trust.
Exactly.
So even with all the global uncertainty, some sectors are still finding ways to thrive.
It's all about adapting to the market and understanding consumer trends.
All right, one last company to round out this first look.
Hit me.
Lend-Lease Global Commercial Real Estate Investment Trust.
They're the ones with the Sky Complex in Milan, right?
That's the one.
How are they doing?
Well, their occupancy rate ticked up just slightly.
Oh, interesting. Given Italy's economic situation, I'm surprised to see any positive movement.
Right, but it seems like they snagged some new tenants.
Even a small increase in occupancy is a good sign in a market like that.
Maybe a sign of things to come?
Hopefully. It'll be interesting to watch how the rest of their portfolio performs.
So, there you have it. A glimpse into the world of the Singapore market.
Quite a mixed bag, really.
Strategic divestments, profit squeezes, impressive growth. Never a dull moment.
It's a dynamic landscape out there.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
Absolutely. And it's why we're here trying to make sense of it all.
Exactly. So stay tuned. We've got more companies to uncover and more insights to share after the break.
You know, it's really interesting to see CICT taking such a proactive approach.
Yeah, selling off that building and paying down their debt.
It's a smart move, especially with interest rates being so high.
Totally. I mean, it really shows they're thinking long term.
Exactly, not just chasing short-term gains.
Makes you wonder what they have planned next.
Right, like, are they going to go on a shopping spree and acquire new properties?
Maybe they're going to invest in some cutting-edge technology to upgrade their existing buildings.
Possibilities are endless, really.
So we've seen companies making strategic moves, navigating tricky economic waters, and even finding pockets of growth.
The Singapore market is never boring, that's for sure.
Always something happening. And that's what makes it so fascinating to follow.
Absolutely, but it can also be a bit overwhelming.
True. That's why it's important to have a good understanding of the forces at play.
Do your research, analyze the data, and make informed decisions.
Don't just blindly follow the crowd.
Think for yourself. Make your own judgments.
And who knows, you might just uncover some hidden gems.
Exactly. So stay tuned. We've got one more company to take a look at after a quick break.
So we've seen companies adjusting, right? They're selling assets, they're dealing with rising costs, and they're finding ways to grow.
Yeah, a real mixed bag of strategies.
But now let's talk about a company facing a completely different challenge.
Oh, what's that?
They're facing the consumer.
Ah, the consumer. Always a fickle bunch.
Right. And in this case, the consumers are changing the entire game.
Which company are we talking about?
Asian Pay Television Trust.
Ah, the TV folks.
Yep. And they're feeling the heat from the streaming revolution.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Everyone's cutting the cord these days.
Exactly. And their profits are taking a hit.
Saw that. Yeah, a significant drop.
It makes you wonder, what can they do?
Adapt or die, right. That's the challenge for so many businesses these days.
So how do they adapt? Do they try to compete with the big streaming giants?
Tough to do. Those guys have deep pockets.
Maybe they focus on niche markets or partner with other companies?
Could be. It'll be fascinating to see what they come up with.
The future of television is definitely in flux.
No doubt about it. It's a whole new world out there.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from real estate to hospitality, from snacks to streaming.
We've seen companies making tough decisions trying to stay ahead of the curve.
And at the end of the day, it all comes back to the consumer.
Their choices, their preferences, their habits, it all drives the market.
Absolutely. So whether you're investing in stocks or just buying groceries,
Remember, you're a part of this whole ecosystem.
your decisions matter. You're shaping the future of the market.
And that's what makes it all so fascinating, right?
Definitely keeps things interesting. Always something new to learn.
All right, that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the Singapore market.
Hope you enjoyed the ride.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.